Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. So recently, the National Universities Commission recognized and gave you the letter of recognition of these two universities.
Gave the governor.
Gave the governor. The letters of recognition for these two universities. It says Lagos State Government, let me see, the Lagos State University of Science and Tech, yes, and University of Education. Yes. Now, why these two specific universities?
Now, let me make a correction. We have three institutions that have become two. The Adeniran College of Education at Ijanikin and the Matriculations College of Primary Education at Noforija merged and transmitted to be in Lagos State University of Education. Okay. To award degrees in education, strictly specialized.
Really?
I love that.
Now, for the other leg of it, Lagos State Polytechnic, Ikorodu, will now be known as Lagos State University of Science and Technology. So those are the two new universities.
Let's start with the University of Education. Yes. Why was there a need to have a University of Education? Especially because there are other degrees out there. Like, I mean, why University of Education particularly?
I'll give this answer with data and facts. Okay. The past few years, the needs for NCE graduates have declined drastically. Yeah. Now, we as a state, we've been recruiting teachers by this governor for the past 2.5 years, over 8,000 teachers. How many of them have we recruited with NCE certificates? So the minimum you have to do is B.Ed. If you have no foundation in education, you have to go and have a postgraduate in education that will have a link or a nexus to education. So we have specialized teachers teaching our kids now in Lagos State. Fantastic. And we can speak to the result in the past 1 year, from 37% to 79% in WAEC. It's unprecedented leap. This year's WAEC. Yeah. Now, let me come to what we have on ground. We have UTME that tells you the best of the applicants will go to the universities. Yeah. The second best will go to the Polytechnic. The worst of them will now have to just look for colleges of education, and they want to be teachers. Secondly, we have a subvention for the two colleges before now. Annually, it goes to 5.5 billion. And the student population combined is less than 4,500. So the numbers are there. So what do we have to do? JAMB listed us this weekend. Wow. And if you go to the JAMB portal now, after Ladu Kakitola, you see Lagos State University of Education, then you see Lagos State University of Science and Tech, then you now see LASUED, our own professional university. Fourthly, you have LASUED. It's been there for almost 40 years. Conventional university with limited carrying capacity. And then we have institutions that are not doing so well because of the needs of this time, this day, and we have said to ourselves, what do we have to do? Let us use data to upgrade them, and we've done that.
When we look at this University of Education, that a lot of times when we hear of institutions that have been upgraded, yes, many times they come with inadequate, either the lecturers are not properly qualified, infrastructure is inadequate. What does this university now have on ground concerning qualified lecturers and infrastructure?
I gave you the numbers, 126 to start, 126. I've not mentioned the management at that level. Lecturers, 126, far more than enough. 65 programs to start.
Okay, so I'm also talking about lecture halls. I'm talking
They are all in place. What we also want to do is add more to what they have on ground.
What are the incentives the government is putting to get people to go into these college of education? Because many people know that jobs would fall. This is where the jobs flow through. So what is the incentive Lagos State is giving to ensure that people will be eager to apply to your newly established University of Education? Maybe there'll be a job.
Let me even add to that, because one of the problems we're having in government is that the teachers, we don't have enough teachers. There are certain subjects that we don't have. Nobody wants to teach Yoruba. Nobody wants to teach science and tech. We have math, English teachers. We don't have certain subjects. So how do you give them incentives to actually accept this?
Very good. What we put in place is this. The programs we are starting with are programs that are need-basis. And that's why the commissioner is going to be involved in the curriculum drawing up. So based on our needs at the states, the 65 programs we're starting with are the ones that are very critical for us as a state in that education ecosystem.
Okay.
Now, don't forget we have 18,000 plus private schools that we know. In total, we have over 40,000 private schools in this state.
Will you be compelling them to employ your graduates?
No, we don't have to compel them. They will compel them by the system. The system will compel them
because of qualified people.
because of the quality that we are going to churn out in the next few years.
What data do you have that informed the decision to have that science and tech?
Okay, thank you very much, Mariah. HND graduates. I'll give you a practical example. You apply to come into civil service in Lagos State. You apply with your peers that came in from the university. Your cap is level 14. You can't exceed level 14 except you do a conversion program. In a place like LASUED, you spend 2 years, 6 semesters to do a conversion. And once you do your conversion, you can now exceed level 14 to get to the peak, maybe 17, and maybe a PAMSEC. That is outright discrimination. Now, we also say to ourselves, we can't be a 21st century economy as encapsulated in the governor's agenda for the state, team's agenda, and you can't drive a process for change that will be in sync with what is driving for the future of Lagos. The governor has made it clear, oh, I want to have a rail project that will run from Marina, Blue Line, to Okoko, for instance, and a red line that will run from Oyinbo to Alagbado. We need hands that will handle those techie things. And this is going to come in handy for us. Okay. And it's data-driven.
Okay, good.
In a normal system, government should not be employer of labor. Yeah. In a normal system, government should just create the enabling environment for private sector to uptake them. Right. But as a state, we're not going to just do that. When they were to construct the Lekki-Ikoyi bridge, the bridge was there for about 6 to 9 months because there were shortages of underwater welders. And the governor then, Governor Banjira Shafasholai said, no, you won't bring from anywhere in the world. Let us train local hands. And it delayed the bridge construction by Julius Berger for 6 to 9 months. They trained them to be underwater welders. Today, the bridge is constructed, but they are earning something in the region of over 2-3 million a month.
Wow. From the skill they acquired.
From the skill they acquired.